This is it, guys, the comparison of what you wanted to see. We have the Sony Xperia Premium against the iPhone X. And let's not waste any more time, let's get right to it. Now, this is going to be a full in-depth comparison with speaker tests, camera tests, both front and rear, and of course a lot of speed tests as well. And on the Sony, you have the latest version of Android Oreo, whereas on the iPhone, iOS 11. And the iPhone, first one to boot up. And now the Sony app as well. Alright guys, so a lot of different testing planned for the video, and next up let's go over the specs. The iPhone has a larger screen at 5.8 inches versus 5.5, although the Sony is the world's first phone with a 4K HDR screen display, 807 pixels per inch versus 458. On the front, you have a 13MP camera on the Sony and a 7 on the Apple. And on the back, you have one camera 19MP on the Sony and two at 12MP on the Apple. And we'll be having front and rear facing camera comparisons later in the video. Now, the Sony has 64GB internal storage. On the iPhone, you have 64 to 56. And the Sony's micro SD card support, the iPhone is not. You have a larger battery on the Sony, 3230 capacity versus 2716. On the Sony, Snapdragon 35 and 4GB of RAM. And on the iPhone, A1 chipset and 3GB of RAM. Both phones are waterproof, although higher certification on the Sony. At the bottom, we have USB Type-C on the Sony and a lightning port on the iPhone. And you do have a fingerprint scanner on the Sony, but not on the iPhone. And also you have a headphone jack on the Sony, but again, not on the iPhone. And on the back, really beautiful designs on both. On the Sony, you have a mirror-like finish, and on the iPhone, you have glass. Alright guys, so excellent specs on both, and now let's see how they stack up. Alright guys, so next up, apps and games, opening everything closed out on both. And getting started with NBC. Sony. Spotify. Sony. YouTube. And again, we have the Sony here. eBay. Now, I know a lot of you guys are thinking you've seen this before, but I will say the iPhone does a lot better in a test later on. Next up, we have iFunny. Once again, the Sony there. Amazon Shopping. Amazing performance here by the Sony. Photos. And this one may go to the iPhone. Next will be a Temperanto. And wow, it actually looks like the Sony's going to be the first phone to beat the iPhone in this game. The Pixel is very close, but yeah guys, Sony first phone to beat the iPhone here. Subway Surfers. And this one going to the iPhone. Super Mario Run. Sony here. So Sony so far the first phone to beat it in two different games. And that's Fold 8. Wow, really excellent job here by the Sony. And next up, let's take a look at AnTuTu. So of course, a higher score on the iPhone, 228,000 versus 180. But as I always say in these tests, guys, AnTuTu is better optimized for iOS than Android, so take it for what it's worth. Vina Cava Hand Sonic. And that's right, guys. Next up, we have the speaker test. And thanks to Harris in the comment section for recommending this song. If you guys have a suggestion, please let me know and I may use it for the next video. Alright, so first up we have the Sony. That's right guys, we got some vocals here. And now the iPhone. Now the Sony. And now the iPhone. I'm not even going to attempt the fingerprint dance at this next one, guys. Just way too intense. And one more time on the Sony. Alright, so clearly the iPhone does get louder. Oh, and I forgot to mention, both these phones dual speakers on the Sony are front facing. So yeah, both phones excellent quality sound on them. But yeah, guys, so the iPhone does get louder, but personally, I think the Sony sounds a bit better. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And next up we have a fingerprint scanner test versus Face ID. Again guys, on the Sony fingerprint scanner right here on the side, and on the iPhone you don't have one but you do have Face ID instead. So what you do is you first have the screen on, you swipe up and look at it. Now for the purpose of this test guys, I'm going to keep the screen on for the iPhone. So both are obviously extremely quick. And overall, I do prefer using the fingerprint scanner over Face ID. And next up we have Chrome versus Safari. First up we have IGN. And this one going to the Sony. Next up we have IMDb, which has been giving me some issues this morning, but let's see if it works. Been very slow here. If not, we'll just find a new site to go to. So yeah, it's giving me an error message here on the iPhone, but on the Sony it does load up. Next up we have Zelda. And excellent job here on the Sony. And let's do a couple more with the Sony and then close off this with Apple. And think that was actually a bit faster there on the iPhone, or it was a tie, but already comment down below. And last up we have Apple.com. And this one going to the iPhone, so I think overall web browsing pretty split. Maybe an edge for the Sony, but again, I think pretty close for it. And last up we have multitasking, so let's try out some of these tougher apps first. So first up, let's try out S40. Excellent job here on both. Narrow margin up for the Sony by a couple milliseconds. Next up we have Super Mario Run. Once again, excellent. Temper on 2. Very good job here. Next up, let's try out iFunny. This one going to the Sony. Going back towards the beginning of NBC News. And refresh on the Sony, now refresh on the iPhone, so this one going to the Sony. Again, back towards the beginning here with Spotify. This one going to the iPhone. And let's just try out a few more with eBay. Refresh here on the Sony, so this one going to the iPhone. Chrome versus Safari. Very close on both. Subway Surfers. Once again, excellent job here on both. And let's do one final one. AnTuTu. Excellent. Next up we have camera speed and bringing in Cat Mario for this. And right after this, front and rear facing camera comparisons. So overall guys, extremely close here on both. Sometimes the Sony, sometimes the iPhone, but overall it's neck and neck. And this quick comparison of front-facing cameras, again on the Sony it's 13MP and on the iPhone it's 7. And testing out the image stabilization. And this quick comparison of front-facing cameras, again on the Sony it's 13MP and on the iPhone it's 7. And testing out the image stabilization. And the quick test of the rear-facing cameras. And testing out the image stabilization. Alright guys, so in terms of speed, clearly going to Sony here, amazing performance by it. But the speaker test, the camera test, is a little bit more subjective, so let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Now, I still have a lot more videos playing between both these phones, so if you guys like the video, want to see more like it, press the button in the middle to subscribe for more videos. Or if you want to watch another video right now, you can press it in the top left or the top right. Alright guys, thanks again for watching.